Hello, what is up guys? Evil Lewis Arm here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best quests for a new player to do in Black Desert to help them on their adventure. So I want to be hitting all of like the major big ones, right? The ones that give you like new skills, unlock new regions, unlock new gear, give you insane rewards, or pretty much any other crazy bonus you can get in this game. I'm going to go through and show you the quests for these. These aren't picking out little quests that like, hey, do this quest every day to get a rock. Like these are like real items that are going to progress your character, new skills, like big advancement type things for your characters. So again, this video is targeted towards newer players. So if you're a more veteran player, been watching my channel, you've probably already seen individual videos covering any of these quests. So you might not get a lot of this, but if you're a new player just getting in, I'm gonna help you out here. And I guess quickly before we get into it, if you're new to my channel, new to Black Desert, or you've been watching videos on my channel, please consider subscribing. It helps to grow my channel. You stay up to date with new content, and we both win. And without further ado, let's get into it and start off with a not so quest-related question, but one that comes up from new players all the time, and that is, should you make a seasonal or a regular character? And the reason I'm starting here is because it actually impacts a lot of the other quests that we're going to cover in this video, but I guess the short answer to save you a bunch of time is that yes, you should create a seasonal character when you're making a new character as a new player. It gives you a ton of perks. So first things first, your gear is easier to upgrade and helps you to get to higher tiers of gear faster. It lets you basically catch up to players that have been playing for a while. You get bonus experience points on pretty much everything you do in the game. There's special quests that we're going to cover here that are aided towards advancing your character. You get free bonus items for completing the season server worth billions of silver, which is a ton of gear progression real fast for you. The servers have no forced PvP, and if you do want to partake in PvP, the gear is normalized between other characters, so you won't have to fight against somebody that's playing for 7 years. You're all on the same footing, so it's really great if you're into that sort of stuff. There's bonus drops on a bunch of different things. You get enhanced life skill progression, like so many bonuses. It's an all-around better experience as a new player getting into the game. So I'd highly recommend creating a seasoned character. One more thing too to kind of help new players out, if you're struggling to decide which character you want to play, if you're stuck between one or two, you can create a trial character over here which unlocks pretty much every skill for the class and lets you just mess around on some training dummies. So you can figure out if the playstyle meets what you want to enjoy. So also another viable way to pick out which class you want to play. But anyway, after you get through character creation here and hit create character, the first time you go to enter the game, you'll click the enter button. It'll ask you if you want to play the tutorial, which I think you have to as a new player, so you won't get this pop-up, but any new character you play after will get this pop-up. I'm gonna hit no, and then you'll be asked to pick which storyline series you want to start in. Now you'll see you have 3 options here to pick from, and this is going to be our first part of the best quest for new players section here. So the 3 regions are Ancient Stone Chamber, Mountain of Eternal Winter, and Land of Morning Light, and they each have bonuses and cons and pros and all those different things to them. The Black Desert story is spread across 10 different regions, and each of these represents one of these regions essentially, or in the case of Ancient Stone Chamber, 3 of the regions. Whichever one of these you pick does not lock you out of completing any of the other 10 regions. You can complete them at your own pace whenever you want to do them, traveling around the game world. The game world is massive. I'll open up the map in a few seconds. But yeah, there's a lot of story content to do. This is just basically which section you're going to start at. And in fact, later on you'll hear me talk about how you want to actually complete the majority of these for all the different rewards that you get from them. But specifically looking at these first 3 that you're going to have to pick from, the Ancient Stone Chamber is the classic start to Black Desert and is probably the best one for most new players. Reason being is that it's going to unlock a large portion of the map as it takes you through 3 regions in its story content as opposed to just 1 for the other 2 there. It also introduces you to a bunch of different characters in the story, and if you're into like lore and the way that the story progresses, this is the start of the Black Desert story. So the other ones jump in further on. Ancient Stone Chamber is the start of the Black Desert story. You'll get to experience it start to finish and don't have to worry about like any spoilers or anything like that. Now because this one does encompass 3 regions, it is about 20 to 50 hours depending on how many cutscenes you watch. So you could spend a lot of time over there, and if you're looking to just like get into the action, it might not be the best pick for you. But all in all, I'd say most new players, like 90% of people, pick Ancient Stone Chamber. It'll make your life so much easier. Now the next one is the Mountain of Eternal Winter, and this one is interesting. It does say recommended for veteran adventurers, and I will kind of agree with that. However, it's not impossible for a new player. The real big negative I see for this one is that it spoils a lot of the story for a new player. So if you are interested in lore and story and that type of stuff, this region gives you like an overview, like 15-minute series of cutscenes that explains the entire story of Black Desert before you get into it. Since this is the 9th region that was released, it's kind of spoiling a ton of content, like maybe, I don't know, 80 hours worth of stuff, just getting spoiled as soon as you start this one. So if you want to just pick it and skip through that little cutscene part at the start, maybe it's up to you, but that's something to keep in mind when you pick that one. If you don't care about the story and you just want to get into playing though, Mountain of Eternal Winter is the way to go. The storyline itself, if you watch every cutscene, is about 9 hours. If you just hammer through it, skip all the cutscenes, and fly on through it, you're looking at about 2 to 3 hours. My leveling guides, my speed leveling guides that I have out on my channel tell you to start in this region because of how fast it is, You can blow right through it, and it's pretty nice. It also unlocks a secondary quest line that allows you to get to level 56 for completing it, and it takes about an hour to complete that one as well. So for 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, you can be pretty much ready to get going into the later sections of the game. Once again, this does not lock you out of completing any of those previous 8 regions. You can go back and do them whenever you want. This just spoils them a little bit for you. Now the last one is the Land of Morning Light, and this is the most recent expansion to Black Desert, which a lot of people are all excited, gonna jump in and play it. However, I would strongly discourage you from it. The reason being is that it's located on an island, which is about a 30-minute boat ride away from the nearest place that you can play any more Black Desert. So you're isolated from the rest of the game world. Tough to play, tough to get into. The storyline takes a good amount of time. If you just skip through all the cutscenes, you're probably looking at about 10 hours, oops. Feels like 10 years though. And the quest lines themselves aren't super exciting. There's not a lot of combat. Most of it's run and grab this thing, give it to this person, run and talk to this person, run and talk to this person. It's not a super engaging series of gameplay. All in all, if I started Black Desert when I started 6 years ago and this was the region I picked, I probably would have quit the game in about 2 hours. So if you're looking for a new player experience in Black Desert that's going to be fun, engaging, enjoyable, blah, 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 I would generally stay away from Land of Morning Light. So pick either Ancient Stone Chamber or Mountain of Eternal Winter, depending on if you want like the full story experience or if you just want to get into the action a little bit faster. Now I just wanted to open up the map quickly to give you kind of like an idea, overview as to where these different starting regions are. The first one is the Ancient Stone Chamber, which is this region right here on the map. So roughly this area here, a little bit covered by it. The second is the Mountain of Eternal Winter, which is just this little tiny region here. With that secondary quest, it'll pop you up and drop you off around here. The final quest is the Land of Morning Light, which is way over here on this island. Again, it's about a 30 to 45 minute boat ride, depending on how fast your boat is, or if you have to wait for the ferry, it's even longer. Not a great spot to start as a new player, because you're kind of stuck here. So, yeah, I would avoid that. Come back to this region once you've got more equipment, have a boat, can fast travel, all those different things. And then just to give you a perspective of the rest of the game world, there's also this whole region out here, Valencia, that you can travel to, and you'll have some storyline stuff to do out there. So the massive world here in Black Desert, picking those starting regions doesn't hamper you from exploring any of the other regions, just tells you where to start. Now, I know I spent a lot of time talking about those quests, but it's really important that you pick the right one for your playstyle, right? Because if you pick one you don't like, you're going to quit the game. So want to make sure you pick a good starting story. Now, once you've gotten through the starting story, though, and are, like, advancing your character, your next big, like, point where you're going to have to do something is level 56. So I'm here on one of my level 56 characters, and the quest you're going to be looking for is going to be on your Black Spirit, which is the comma key on the keyboard. And under that, you'll see the main quest tab. You will see a quest called Your Class, and then Awakening. You're going to want to do this quest, as well as the Your Class Succession quest line that will come up right after it. The reason being is because that is how you unlock a bunch of skills for your class. So K key on the keyboard brings up your skill menu. The Awakening section, all of these skills are locked behind that Awakening quest line. So all of these different animations, different weapons, different skills for your class that do pretty cool abilities, pretty good damage, all those different things locked behind completing that quest line. And then after you complete the Awakening quest line, the Succession quest line, which unlocks all of these prime skills, is also needing to be completed. So those two quests happen back to back at level 56. As soon as you hit level 56, you're almost worth dropping what you're doing entirely just to pick up those quest lines. I also want to point out that you're going to have to pick between either your Awakening or your Succession version of your class. Do note that there is a skill preset system, and I have a video guide going over the skill preset system that'll be linked down below that shows you how to use the skill preset system to swap between either of those whenever you want. So you're not locked in forever, you just have to switch back and forth between them. Awakening is all of these new skills that you unlock. Succession is super enhanced versions of your skills you've already been using. Now the next biggest quest line to complete in my mind is going to be the Magnus quest line. This quest line is started by pressing the comma key on the keyboard and talking to your Black Spirit under the main quest tab, looking for the quest Nostalgic for Velia, this quest line right here. This quest line will begin a super long series of quests. It's probably going to take you like 8 hours to complete, and I have a full guide through every single one of these quests because they are a pain in the butt. This quest line sucks, I'm not gonna lie, but the rewards from it are so amazing that it is worth suffering. What do you get for the rewards from this questline? Well, first things first, it unlocks the ability to fast travel to every single city in the game. So you have these little wells spread around the world, you jump into the well and it lets you teleport to any other well in the game world, which is pretty much every major city in the game. So for example, if you don't want to take a 45-minute boat ride to the Land of Morning Light to do the quest lines, you can jump into the well at the Land of Morning Light and end up anywhere on the map that you want, like say you wanted to go over here. So that'd save you like an hour of walking, riding horses, and riding boats, right? It's an absolutely insane improvement to the game, something that should have come out a long time ago, but they finally have it, and it's definitely a quest you're going to want to do. The second thing that it unlocks is shared storages between every town in the game. So you'll find out that the storages in Black Desert are linked to the main city. You buy houses at these storage locations to increase the amount of capacity you have in warehouses, and that used to be how it worked, but now with this quest line, every single storage is combined throughout the game world, so you can access all of your storages throughout the game world from any singular storage. So if I wanted to pull this thing out from, like, say, the Land of Morning Light, and I wanted to get this maple sap right here, I could just claim it from the Land of Morning Light, which is like an hour-and-a-half ride from where I'm at. So huge, huge improvement there. The next thing it does is unlock a free piece of pen armor. Pen armor is one of the highest tiers of armor in the game, and you get one for free, and it can be enhanced up to the highest stage of the Fallen God armor or other equivalent tier that you want to upgrade to. So it gives you something that's ready to go right to the next stage. All you need to do is gather some materials and combine them up. You know, by the way, if you aren't sensing a common theme already, I got a guide on how to do that armor upgrade as well, so it's literally in this video. And then the fourth thing here that this unlocks, and probably one of the coolest ones as well, is a new additional skill for the class. So for example, the one I'm on right now, Dimensional Compression, new skill that is unlocked by completing that quest line. So all in all, it's a quest line that you 100% want to make sure you complete. Now the next series of quests I want to talk about are going to be the Jetina quests, and these quests are accepted from the NPC Jetina, who's located in pretty much every major city in the game. This NPC has a series of daily quests as well as main quests. I've already completed the daily quests, so they're not there for me, but these weekly quests are available here, you can see. Completing these quests from Jetina allow you to enhance your seasonal gear that you've gotten up to the boss tier stage. And then the boss tier stage ultimately enhances up into the Fallen God stage, which is where I was just talking about a few seconds ago. So essentially this allows you to take your seasonal gear that you get for that seasonal character that you made, which is why we said start on a seasonal character, all the way up to the highest tiers of gear. It's an awesome questline for a new player, and definitely one to consider. It also gives you a series of quests that you can do to get a free pen accessory, which is one of the best accessories in the entire game. Now to run it down the line for all of the different video guides I have to help you along with these Jetina quests, the first is that you're going to need pen gear. So you'll need your pen seasonal gear to upgrade into these other stages with Jetina. I have a full-on guide walking you through that whole process here. So it's a 30-minute guide, but it's got chapters you can skip around as you continue to advance through your character progression. After you've done that, I have guides on the Pen Boss Gear Exchange quest line. So this is to exchange each of those armor pieces and weapons over to the Jetina gear that we were talking about a second ago, and how to upgrade it using her quest line. And the final one that I have is for the accessory that I mentioned as well, and nice face, I figured I had to pause at that one. But this is to unlock a free accessory. So all in all, these quests are going to take you probably about 2 months. They're daily quests, you do them, they take maybe an hour tops per day, probably closer to 30 minutes to do each of these quests. It's kind of just part of your daily rotation that you'll do on your account. Get the upgrade items that you need for this, throw them into storage, and then go ahead and make those upgrades as you continue to progress. It is a quest line that you're going to want to start early though, because again, it takes about 2 months to complete everything on it. So yeah, I just want to call it out so you can start it up early. Now the next series of quests I want to hit on aren't technically quests, but they are kind of like assignment-y type things that you're going to do, and they give you awesome rewards, and those are the Adventure Log Journals. So, escape key on the keyboard, Adventure Log Bookshelf is going to bring up a ton of little stories that you can do here. And these stories provide you pretty awesome rewards as you complete them. There are a ton of these, some of these are better than others. If you want to pick out the 2 that I'd recommend first to get started with, it's going to be, in the Old Moon Log section, Book of Margarin Volume 1 and Book of Margarin Volume 2. The reason you want to do these books first is because it unlocks the ability to double the amount of loot you get while you're out grinding for completing those 2 books. So 100% want to do it, and guess what? Video guide for it, ready to go. Linked down below. All of these guides I'm showing, by the way, are linked down below. So you just want to use this as like a reference to pick out all the stuff, it's all there. Now the second one I'd recommend is going to be the Igor Bartali's Adventure Log Journal Series. This journal series takes quite a while to do, you're going to be suffering through it for a bit, but it gives you a ton of stats. It gives you inventory expansion slots, bonus stats, attack power, defense power, tons of stuff for your entire account. All of these books apply to your entire account. So they're quest lines that you only have to do one time for every character you ever make. One time is good for the whole account. So they're useful, it's good to work through these a little bit, like if you're bored looking for some downtime. Look up a Google guide on somewhere, there's text guides on the internet, I've got video guides on these, however you want to go through it. They're pretty casual, just slowly work your way through them. You can see that there's a lot of them to do. But those are the 2 I'd start with, Book of Margarin as well as Igor Bartali's Adventure Log series, which I also have a video guide series on my channel for. Other ones to hit though, they give you bonus stats. Deve's Journal is going to give you bonus stats. The Dora Morgrim's Journal is going to give you stats. I think Fugar's Secrets of Success gives you some stats. You'll want to do the ones that give you bonus stats first and then work through the other things. But anyway, they're really good to complete and you should totally work towards them. Now the next quest line we're going to look at is going to be the one for the Chenga Tome, and for those of you that have watched my channel for any amount of time, you probably know me for my leveling guides. And the leveling guides, this is a mandatory item. So if you ever plan to level up a second character on Black Desert, you're going to want to get this book right here, the Chenga Tome. Again, I have a video guide on how to obtain this. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to do this quest line, and what it does is it gives you this book right here, the Chenga Tome, that allows you to gain 30% bonus EXP from quests. What this means is that instead of having to power level your character through like grinding or killing mobs, you can do it via questing all the way up to level 61. So yeah, it expedites the leveling process if you ever want to level a character again, and is something you should consider picking up if you plan to play multiple characters. And also, my full-on leveling guide walking you through the whole process is also a playlist on my YouTube channel, so you can catch that too. Now, the next series of quests I'm going to talk about are ones we already mentioned earlier, and those are completing the other regional quests. So like I said at the very start of this video, there are 10 regions in Black Desert. Each of them have their own questline series. Each of those questline series award you with different items for completing them. For example, completing the earlier stages in the story are going to give you pets, and pets are used to collect loot off the ground for you so you don't have to loot it yourself. So like, it's definitely worth going back and completing this Balanos storyline area, or this Ancient Stone Chamber story area, so that you can go ahead and get those different items. Now, there are some huge ones, though, for later on completions of the story. Looking on further here into the Camisylvia region, the Camisylvia storyline awards you with a quest that you can complete for 1 bonus DP. The Odalita region awards you with a quest you can complete for 1 bonus AP. The Mountain of Eternal Winter awards you with an accessory that is really, really good. It's an awesome earring that you can use for a large portion of your playthrough. Huge, huge bonus there. And the Land of Morning Light that I told you to stay away from gives you both 1 attack power and 1 defense power automatically for completing it. So all in all, a bunch of bonus stats for your character just for completing some quests and the story stuff here. It's fantastic. And oh, by the way, I have a guide on those 2 1 AP and 1 DP quests, so you can watch it here. Now, these 4 regions that I just mentioned are more of the later end regions, so it'll probably take you a while before you get to them, but still, definitely something to look out for when you get to those regions to complete. Now, the next series of quests we're going to look at are going to be ones that improve your overall quality of life, and the first one we're going to look at is the Ferry. So the Ferry is a character sort of thing that you can unlock in the game that gives you a bunch of buffs to your character. For example, you'll see mine that automatically uses HP potions for me, making my life super easy. Again, I have a video guide on how to unlock the Ferry and all the different things you need to do to get it, but it's something you're going to want to unlock early because you're going to have to re-roll this a bunch of times if you're a free player. Mine that I have here took me probably like 4 or 5 months, and I haven't touched it because I don't want to re-roll it and get something worse. But all in all, it's a really, really awesome thing. It gives you like weight increases, like tons of buffs for completing this questline series and getting that Ferry. The second one we're going to take a look at are going to be pets. So I already mentioned this a few seconds ago, but pets will automatically pick up your loot for you so that you don't have to go over every single thing you kill and pick up the loot. Again, you get these for completing story quests. There's also a series of quests you can view on the Oki, suggested, loyal companions right here. So these quests you can complete once per account to get a free pet. So take a look at those and make sure you've completed all of them. And sticking in the same menu, we're going to look at the Inventory Expansion tab. These are a series of quests that you can complete that'll give you extra inventory slots on your character. These can be completed on every character, so you'll have to redo these quests as you play through your other characters on your account, but they are free inventory expansion slots for doing this. Again, inventory expansions are a Pearl Shop item, so you have to spend real-life money on them. It's nice to get some free ones right there. Now, this menu has a bunch of other suggested quests that you can do, and like specific life skill quests based on like life skills you might enjoy doing. So it's something to peruse through to see if there's any other quests you might want to do, depending on how you enjoy playing the game. But all in all, guys, I think that's enough questing to keep you busy for at least like 3 months. So hopefully it keeps you entertained and gives you stuff to do. I know this video was a longer video. I put chapters in it to make it a little easier to navigate and try different things if you haven't completed stuff already. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video. So I do hope you found this useful. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if more types of videos like this would be useful for you as you get out there on your adventure. Again, I really do appreciate your support, and would you consider subscribing to help grow my channel? With that, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you at the next YouTube video right here, the next Twitch live stream, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.